Hey everybody, it's Kenneth Arthur back here again for Field Goals talking about the Seahawks. I needed to bring in a video because I didn't do one after the Dolphins game because I was sick. I was sick about it, but I was also sick in the classic sense of the word. I was the mayor of Garbage Town, and the Seahawks were the frickin' president of Garbage Town on Sunday in that stupid loss to the Dolphins. I got nothing to say about the Seahawks right now, but if I go around the NFC, we're kind of talking about the Seahawks because I'm going to tell you my gut reactions on all the teams that could be playing for the playoffs, the kind of teams that Seattle needs to wonder about going into the final 5 games of the season. I don't know if Seattle needs to win all 5, but they got to win 4, and that's the bottom line. 5, I think, is going to guarantee it. 4, I think, could get it done. But obviously, then we got to start talking about some tiebreaker situations. But I think a 9-7 team is getting into the playoffs as a wild card in the NFC. So what I'm going to go is just go off the teams, just say what I'm feeling at that very moment. No rehearsal. All right, let's start with the Giants. Giants aren't very good. I mean, they're okay. They're always a threat. The fact of the matter is, when the Giants are struggling, all of a sudden they should be the Super Bowl favorite. Because when they're good, they suck. And when they suck, all of a sudden they're good. So, Giants, I wish they would start winning some more games, get to 12-4, and then I know that they're not going to win a Super Bowl. Because they're fucking not that good when they're good. The Redskins. The Redskins have won the last 2 games. The Redskins are doing the things right recently. They've only turned over the ball once in their last 4 games. They're forcing turnovers. They're 4th in the NFL in turnover differential. They got Robert Griffin III. But I think they need to win out. They need to get their last 5 games. They need to win all 5 of those. They need to win games in the division. They got to beat the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and they can do it. But at the same time this season, they have struggled against teams that they are better than. They've lost to the teams like the Panthers and the Rams, where if that was a playoff team, I actually think they're going to go out there, they're going to lose, they're going to maybe win another game, and then all of a sudden they're going to drop one to a team they should beat because that's what they do. The Cowboys. Here's how I know the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. Checks the calendar. Oh, it's almost December. Cowboys are done. They have to win out. Seahawks already beat them, so they have to win out. It's not going to be enough for them to get to 9-7, I don't think. So they got to win their next 5 games. That's not going to happen. In his career, Tony Romo is 10-15 in December. 10-15 in December, 23-5 in November. So it's not Romo-vember. It is Decemberception Romo. Tony Romo sucks in this month. The Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs. So in the NFC East, you got the Giants going in, and the Redskins, Cowboys, and Eagles obviously falling short. That's going to be the team coming out of the East, no question. Going on to the North is interesting. You got the Bears at 8-3. You got the Packers at 7-4. If you beat the Bears, if the Seahawks go out and beat the Bears, all of a sudden their whole picture looks a lot better because whether it's the Bears or the Packers, Seahawks hold a tiebreaker over each one of those wildcard teams. One of them is going to win the division. One of them is going to win the wild card. I'm still saying the Packers are going to win the wild card. So if you go out there and you beat the Bears, drop them to 8-4, move yourself up to 7-5. Now all of a sudden you're just 1 game behind with the tiebreaker. So that's going to be a key pivotal thing. But if you go out there and you don't beat the Bears, and obviously Seattle 1-4 on the road, this is going to be the best road team they played except for San Francisco. Although I'll say it again, Chicago Bears overrated. They've proven to be a team that relies heavily on the quarterback. Jason Campbell sucks, and if you do anything that happens to Jay Cutler, like I feel bad, like I feel like if someone's like Jason Campbell's sister or something like that came on here and was like, man, fuck you, man, and in the comment section I'm going to get a lot of hate from Jason Campbell fans and stuff like that. I understand that. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm not trying to hate on Jason Campbell the man, but we all saw the game. We all saw him play. There's no question at that point. He's a much better athlete and probably a better man than I am. But the fact of the matter is he has to go into the game. The Bears are losing. They rely heavily on that forcing turnovers. So when they face a team like the San Francisco 49ers that can hold on to the ball and one with a good defense, Bears lose. I'm not worried about the Bears in the playoffs. They're going to play somewhat better than them. and they're going to lose. And it'll be interesting to see, with Seattle having their corners and with the Bears being shorthanded, losing their guard, maybe a few other players for this particular game, maybe Seattle can get their shit together on the road, because it could be a thing where all of a sudden they go out there and play a good team on the road, and all of a sudden they play up to the Chicago Bears, hopefully get a win. The Bears are going to get a wild card. The Packers are going to win the division. The Vikings are done. We could recognize soon that the Vikings were not ready for the playoffs. I think they got a bright future. Not this year. Not going to happen. Lions got to win their next 5 games. End of story. Falcons 10-1. Falcons aren't going to go to the Super Bowl. Everybody knows the Falcons are overrated. Everybody knows the Falcons have come this close to perhaps being maybe like 6-5. Like all these close last-second victories and stuff like that. Not in the top category in anywhere. They got some good players, but not great. Nobody stands out in certain areas where you're looking at a guy like, okay, they got Julio Jones, an exciting Roddy White. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. Tony Gonzalez is a great tight end. But other than that, Falcons are going to go out there. They're going to, win their division by 5-6 games. They're going to get a first-round bye. They're going to be the top seed in the NFC. And then they're going to go out there and face a team coming out of the first round. Call it the Seahawks. Call it the Bears. Call it the Giants. Whatever. And I think that we are going to expect the Falcons to lose. Maybe they don't. Maybe they get that home win. But then who are they going to play? I think the team that they play in the next round is going to be better, and the Falcons aren't going to get there. Buccaneers, man. Buccaneers are the team that you got to fear if you're a Seahawks fan, because they're on a roll. They got offense. They're doing something the Seahawks aren't doing, which is forcing turnovers. They got Josh Freeman playing the best football of his career, perhaps. And definitely a bounce back. You could see the writing on the wall. The Bucs didn't seem that bad from the beginning. Obviously, they started 4-2, and then they had that terrible stretch in the middle of the year. And then by the end of the season, they just seemed to have given up. They were like, okay, Raheem Buck's gone. We're just going to stop playing. Let's go chill out, because we got off season. Man, because if I was an NFL player, if I could think about, oh my God, I'm going to start my off season soon. Like, if you start your off season 3-4 weeks early, you're talking about 3-4 more weeks of partying, girls, money, boats, hoes, clubs, drinks, drugs, more money, party buses. I was all about the party buses, man. So you start that 3-4 weeks early, and they get ready for the next season, which they did some great things, which was signing Vincent Jackson to move Mike Williams to a better position, getting LeGarrette Blount out of the picture, getting Doug Martin, all these things. They got the Carl Nix, even though he went on IR. They went out there, they did some good things, they had some good draft picks. All of a sudden, here are the Bucs, and it sucks to see them come up. However, I gotta say it's like a coin flip between maybe the Bucs and the Seahawks right now, because I can't guarantee that the Seahawks aren't going to shit the bed again at some point. Go out to Buffalo or go out to Toronto and freaking lose to the Bills. At this point, you can't say that they have a good shot of beating anyone on the road. So you go out there and lose to the Dolphins. Why the heck wouldn't they lose to the Bills? So I can't really say that the Seahawks are favored over the Bucs. The Bucs, there's definitely going to be some growing pains, I think, for them. But they could go out there. They could go to 10-6. Definitely, I think they could go 9-7. And then, then there's going to be some conference records and whatnot. Right now, I know that we have a lead in that regard. So, but if you lose to the Bears, then all of a sudden I think the lead's gone. So, Saints ain't gonna make it. 5-6, win their last 5. Just too bad on defense. It's just too much of a shit show going on in New Orleans. All credit, praise be to Drew Brees. I think they must be 5-2 in their last 7 games. Obviously, if the Saints made the playoffs, that's the team that could beat the Falcons. Absolutely. If they could definitely go to the Super Bowl. If they make the playoffs, too hot. You know what I mean? Right timing, Drew Brees. It's all gravy for them. But they're not going to do it, I don't think. So we go on to the NFC West. Only one team to worry about. The Rams and Cardinals are out of it. We're not catching the 49ers. Right now, you got to say the 49ers, best team in the NFC. Maybe the best team in the NFL. You got to go with the AFC. Maybe the Texans are better. Maybe the Broncos at full strength are better. Maybe the Ravens are better. We gave up on the Ravens. All of a sudden, Ray Lewis might be back in a couple of weeks. Why did I feel bad for Ray Lewis? I don't know why I ever felt bad for him. The guy's got money. The guy's got NFL career. The guy's obviously one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And you idolize him if you hear him talk. If I could talk like Ray Lewis, he would still be watching right now 10 minutes into a fucking video. But I can't. And the Ravens. The Ravens could have Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis in the playoffs. Forget about it. But the San Francisco 49ers right now are the best team in the NFC. And why not? We talk a lot of shit about Harbaugh, but at the same time, you got to think. This is a guy that's been groomed to be a coach since he was a player. This is a guy that was an assistant coach at his dad's team, Western Kentucky, since he was in the NFL. For like 8-9 years when he was in the NFL, he was still working with coaches in college. And then there's no coincidence to when a guy goes into San Diego who doesn't have athletic scholarships and gets 11 wins in a season. And then goes to Stanford and turns it around. Then comes in the league. The guy knows how to coach. There's no question about that. How you feel about his personality is completely justified. But he can coach, and the 49ers might have that weapon at quarterback that they have lacked in his year and a half if Colin Kaepernick can keep doing what he's doing. I like Colin Kaepernick, but all of a sudden he was sitting on the bench, so I had to question that somewhat. This was a guy that Harbaugh picked to be his franchise quarterback, and he sits him for this long. I was like, okay, he's not ready. Obviously, there's something wrong with him. But here we are now, and now everybody's all in Colin Kaepernick's. So 49ers, Falcons, Packers, Bears, Sears, and Bucks. Something like that. It's going to be an interesting final stretch in the NFC to see who makes the playoffs. So thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe. I don't even know how many subscribers I got right now. Should be 500, so I can tell SB Nation, hey, look at me. What's up with that pay bump? So make sure to hit subscribe and tell a friend. And go Seahawks.